there's no, I don't know if there's Saudi money in my company, but they're not telling me what to write. So what's my incentive to not tell the truth?
Will you label me as far right?
I think I would call you Islam critic.
So that's great, because I am an Islam critic, but so you won't label me as far right, is that what you said?
I know you don't see yourself as far right.
Yeah, but will you, when you write your newspaper article, will you call me far right? Be honest.
I might.
You might. So you now, seeing as you might call me far right to your readership, explain to me how I'm far right.
You have a fairly, you are very critical of Islam. It's normally seen on the far right of the political scale.
So if you're an atheist, you're far right. If you criticise Christianity, you're far right. Or is there protected status only given for Islam?
I'm not sure.
Come on, man. So you just said you would properly call me far right in your article because I criticise Islam. Yeah?
That's the norm.
No, it's not the norm. That's the norm by lying. That's the norm by the lying media. Yeah?
What's my incentive to lie?
Well, you are lying.
Yeah, but what do you think my incentive is?
You tell me. Why would you lie in your newspaper? You tell me. Or is it just that you're conditioned now to call anyone that criticises Islam far right? So you say, yeah, I probably would. Why? Because you criticise Islam. If I criticised Christianity, if my whole theme was that I talk out about Christianity, when you write a news article about me, would you call me far right for that reason?
Okay.
Would you? No, would you?
No.
No. Just Islam gets this protected status. So why do you, as a mainstream journalist, give Islam protected status over Christianity? Why do you give it a special protection where you would label someone?
Why is it a protection?
Well, because you're calling people far right who talk about it.
But what's wrong with being far right?
Everything's wrong with being far right. What part of my views are far right? Because I criticise Islam.
Yeah.
But I believe in women's rights.
Yeah.
I believe in women's rights. I believe in gay rights.
You can do that on the right.
On the far right.
I would say so.
So you'd say that. So what would you say that makes you far right? Criticising Islam.
It's one of the things.
Really, you're a journalist, and you actually think that criticising an idea makes you far right. And you're a journalist for a mainstream national newspaper. That's your view. That's why I think you're all right.
Okay,
that's why I don't trust you.
Okay, cool. The media. I take it you agree that the media every day tells stories that are relevant for people. You made a bigger name for yourself during the Rotherham rape gangs trials. I know
the media knew about the Rotherham, and they didn't report it.
But still, they were reported by the Times. Eventually, but
if you watched an interview with Andrew Norfolk from the Times, so the Times were the one that broke the story. Andrew Norfolk said in his interview that he had been told about these gangs, he knew about these gangs, and he didn't comment.
But they did eventually do it.
And to hear why? Because we had to take it back from the far right. So because we took to the streets, as the English Defence League, who many journalists from their background would look down upon us. That's why that's why the Times newspaper made comment on it. So I'm happy that we forced them to report on it. I'm happy that the Times newspaper reported on it, but I still think they're all cowards for refusing to do it until they were forced to. Journalists across the UK were aware of what was happening and they didn't comment. Okay. Police forces didn't make arrests.
But do you agree that the media also tell relevant stories to the people of Britain, to the people of the world? Or is everything in the media lies, false?
No, I agree. I agree.
Cool.
Yeah, of course.
Is there a line to freedom of speech?
No.
There's no
Not freedom of speech, but no. I believe that we have laws in the UK.
Yeah.
So you should not be able to encourage or incite violence against people.
Oh.
But you should be able to criticise any idea you want.
Yeah.
That's fundamental to free speech.
Yeah.
The hate speech laws, you have hate speech laws here?
Yeah.
We have hate speech laws in the UK. Who do you think should be in control of speech? Because we have all these laws. So do you think big tech should be able to just say for example the Danish Free Press Society, they've all been deleted last night for sharing a link to and saying that I'm talking in Parliament. They haven't broken any hate speech laws. All of them have had their accounts closed down. Do you not worry with that, the power that big tech has to be able to just say, okay, we're removing all of these people. They broke no laws, committed no crime, been tried by no one, haven't even breached any hate speech policies.
In as you say, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they all see you as more like a hate preacher.
I've never been tried.
I know,
but that's my point.
I know you haven't. But and when Facebook deleted your account, they wrote individuals and organizations that attack others on the basis of who they are have no place on Facebook or Instagram. And you were warned by Facebook.
You see that comment you just read? The Muslim Brotherhood, who are a prescribed terrorist organisation, have a Facebook account. Let's not pretend that the reason I've been removed is anything to do with their regulations or guidelines. I've been removed because of political decisions. But otherwise, if they had these rules that they stick to, terrorist organisations would not be allowed their Facebook accounts. But they have.
But Facebook deleted your profile for a post calling, and I'm quoting from Facebook, a post calling Muslim filthy scumbags, a post urging people to terrorize and behead those who follow the Quran, a post urging people to make war on Muslims, and multiple videos depicting individuals being bullied.
You're a journalist, yeah?
I know what you're going to say. I haven't found...
You haven't found it?
No.
Don't you think that's strange? As a journalist, don't you think that's strange?
Yeah, but they've deleted everything, so...
No, come on, man. Don't you think if I said that comment, tell me, as a journalist, if I said one of those comments, say I posted on my social media, behead those who follow the Quran. So you haven't said any of these?
Never. And you haven't posted any of these on Facebook?
No, an answer. Don't you think if I did, a journalist would have screenshotted it? Don't you think there would be one piece of evidence that I said these comments? What do you think, that I posted these 4 comments and no one made a comment on them? That would be front page of every national newspaper if I made those comments. So don't you, just asking seriously, don't you think that's suspicious? Do you think that's suspicious? That there's no evidence of this? Why when they banned me, wouldn't they just show what I said? Why wouldn't they have produced, here's what he said? What do you think?
I'm going to have to ask Facebook why they haven't done that.
Well, no.
But I don't know.
Your national TV company, I saw the interview.
I saw it yesterday.
And he said he couldn't show.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I don't have an opinion on that.
Come on, you must have.
No,
don't you think that's suspicious? Don't you think that's insane? How they can put these statements out but no one's ever seen them? Come on, Facebook is a profile where the minute you say something, it's screenshotted. Come on, you know it. This is why when I say to you, when you say, do I trust you? Yeah, why should you...
But I don't know.
But you do know. Come on, man. You know that. You know. There would be evidence of this. You know there would. Yeah?
I suspect it. But I still believe that this is what Facebook is saying. This is what they are claiming.
It is what they're saying, but you know it's not true.
No, I don't know. I don't know it's not true.
But you know there would be a... So say, if I said on my Facebook that had 1.2 million followers, behead those who follow the Quran, you don't think, as a journalist, that there would be evidence of that comment somewhere?
I suspect there would, but...
Come on.
I'm still just going to stick to that this is what Facebook claims.
Yeah, I know, but if you was an honest journalist, you should be calling Facebook out for lying.
I am going to call Facebook and try to get an explanation, but I know that they're not going to give it.
So they're just going to lie to the world, and what the mainstream media will do is just push that lie, which is what you're going to do. Push the lie when you know it's not true. Come on!
But I don't know it.
No, come on, yeah, you do.
Tommy, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, IG, they're all private companies. Why aren't they allowed to do as they please?
Because Facebook has 37 million UK users. It is become more than just a little social media. It's part of society. It's where people get their news. They're controlling. They're controlling what people can and can't hear. If they want to control what people can and can't hear, then they need to deregister and give the right that the United States government have given them, and they need to be held accountable for what's on their pages. Which at the minute they're not, because they say we're not a platform, we're just a platform. Yeah, but they're not.
But isn't that exactly what they did when they removed you? Took responsibility back?
No, they didn't.
Why?
Because if they want to take responsibility back, then they should be open for being charged for all the things that are on their platform. That's how they get around it. And they haven't taken responsibility.
You have a fairly big amount of followers, not any longer on Facebook and Twitter, but you still have a number of outlets that reach these followers. I'm sitting here, yesterday you were on Deadline.
But you're only sitting here, and you're going to run a news article that's going to tell your followers that I called to behead people. You're sitting here, you're going to say...
I'm going to say that Facebook said that. I'm not saying...
Yeah. So Facebook tell a lie, and then the mainstream media push the lie around the world. That's my point. Yeah? Even when deep down, I know you know it's a lie. So you're still going to put out this lie, which is total nonsense, that's going to be spread around the world.
I could also argue, or one could argue, that you use this role, that you're being shut down by Facebook, that you use it to promote yourself.
I use it as an example to the world because everyone can sit and know. Look, if I'd been arrested for, do you know what? This is the sickening thing. A terrorist can come out of jail. Yeah, we have a terrorist in Luton called Roger Ibrahim Andersen. Yeah, a white convert terrorist, ISIS terrorist. He's gone to jail. He's come out of jail. He's now on Facebook, and he's posting things on Facebook. So a convicted terrorist is allowed a Facebook account, but a man who's convicted of 0 crimes to do with hate speech or anything like that isn't allowed. That is ridiculous. So if Facebook are going to have these policies, what they need to do is ban every single paedophile from ever having Facebook. Ban every single terrorist.
But maybe they just don't like you.
No, I'm aware of that. That's my point. That's my point on how ridiculous it is. But they don't like me, but they like terrorists.
But they're allowed to, aren't they?
They're allowed to control the public, what people can and can't say. They're in total control. Not your government, okay? Your government are no longer in control of free speech in this country. The people you elected as officials, the people who you can get rid of if you want to, they're not in control of the market of free speech in Denmark. Social media are. And who are these who's elected these social media control? Who decides in those companies? What is the process of deciding who can and can't? I showed you yesterday in my speech, Islamic radicals are now deciding who can and can't have Facebook. It stinks. If Saudi Arabia stick more money into there, are they going to start changing? We'll delete this party, that political party, that political party. The control has to be taken back from them.
You filmed outside courts several times, resulting in different sentences. Did you know that you weren't allowed to?
I was allowed to. So if you read the law, again, if you actually read the law, a judge has no power, okay, to put reporting restrictions on any information that's already in the public domain. That's the law. Everything I read was already in the public domain. Now, the way they use the law, which is what they've done, and interpret it and change it whatever way they want, is the reason I was acquitted. It's the reason in the end they had to change their charges to the fact that not about just reporting, because they couldn't send me back to jail for that the second time. They had to change it for causing distress. So I went to prison because I caused anxiety to the Muslim paedophiles who had been raping children for decades. I caused them anxiety by asking them, how do you feel about your verdict? Do you as a mainstream journalist think I should have the right to ask someone how they feeling about their verdict? Do you think I should have that right?
I don't think I need to answer that question.
Do you have that right in this country? If
you're not allowed to film outside of courts
at all.
No.
Not allowed to film at all.
Not in cases like that, because there were restrictions on those cases, right?
But there should be no restrictions.
No, but there are.
But the restrictions are hiding things from the public. But with your belief in journalism, do you believe people should be free if they're not making judgmental comments, and I'm a journalist, do you think they should be free to stand there with a camera and people walking into court, they should be able to film them and give a report saying this man's on trial?
But there were restrictions on that trial.
Yeah, but there shouldn't be restrictions.
But there were.
Yeah, okay, but there shouldn't. So I'm asking, do you think, as a journalist, that you should have the right?
I don't decide the laws.
It's not a law.
No, but in Denmark, you asked me what it was like in Denmark. In Denmark, there are restrictions. You're not allowed to film outside the court with restrictions.
At all?
No.
At all?
You're allowed to film the court house, but you're not allowed to film the people going in and out. No. You have a past in EDL, BNP, and the Luton firm, where I take it violence was not uncommon in those organizations. Is that
in those organizations? So look, I was.
Is that true? Was violence common?
What, in my life?
No, in those organisations.
I wasn't in an organisation, the BNP. I didn't meet people from the BNP, so not aware of the history of violence within that. At the English Defence League, when we went out onto the streets to protest, we were come under a violent attack every week. So yeah, there was violence. Yeah. And
in the Luton firm as well.
Yep, I don't deny that. So I grew up in Luton Town. Luton Town is one of the most deprived and roughest towns in Britain.
I know.
I saw a lot of violence in my life growing up as a youngster. So it's a tough town.
You've been convicted of violence, mortgage fraud, threatening.
Which violence? Which violence?
You've been convicted of assault.
Who did I assault? Who did I assault?
Huh?
Who did I assault?
A police officer.
No, not that one. Next one.
That's you hit another guy at an EDL rally.
Who was the guy?
I think you claim it was some Nazi type.
Far right.
Yeah. Okay. So he's far right. Okay. Yeah. Possession of drugs. Tried to travel to the U.S. with another man's passport and breach of court order. And how do you legitimize that you are now all of a sudden on the right side of the law?
On the right side of the law?
Yeah.
So I had one criminal conviction, which was the assault on an off-duty police officer. An off-duty police officer. Not a police officer, an off-duty police officer. Yeah, who, if you read again the court transcripts on that case, he accepts that he attacked me. Yeah. What I got convicted of was that my self-defence overstepped to self-defence because I kicked him when he was down. Yeah? I was 21 years old. It was my first ever offence. Now, I had no more arrests or convictions from that day until I formed the English Defence League. When I formed the English Defence League, I got arrested every other month, by bogus charge after bogus charge after bogus charge. So some of those things you're going to read on my record are an absolute joke.
But still, you have been convicted of all of these
things.
But how can you explain to people that you're all of a sudden fighting for the right causes when the society have labeled you on 8, 9 sentences for doing the wrong thing? Yeah,
but then for doing the wrong thing, like recording a convicted paedophile, that's not the wrong thing. Asking someone how they feel about their verdict is not the wrong thing.
But travelling to the US on another man's passport.
Shall I explain that to you?
No, you don't have to explain it. But I would just like to know how you can now claim that to be a righteous.
Isn't one of your MPs in this country the founder of Antifa?
I don't know.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, one of your left-wing MPs is the founder of Antifa. Antifa are a violent extremist organisation. He's now an MP.
But this is what you do every time you ask a question. For you say someone else did something.
No.
But they did.
I don't claim to be an angel. Yeah? It was never going to be a female school teacher who took on Islam. Yeah? And if I hadn't had the upbringing I'd had, I'd have run away at the first punch in the nose I received. I don't back down. Yeah? It's why I'm still sitting here after 10 years of facing the threats and attacks I've faced. So you have to take the good with the bad.
But why should people trust you after this?
Why should they?
All of these things, all of these.
Because what do those things have to do with the truth that I'm speaking about Islam? What do they have to do with it? I'd rather it wasn't me sat here. I'd rather it wasn't me speaking about Islam. I'd rather politicians would talk about it, but they're cowards and they're scared. So unfortunately, it's a sad state of affairs when it takes someone like me to galvanise a mass following. Now, I don't see what any of those things have to do with the truth that I speak on issues. I have no idea what they have to do.
I would like to talk a little bit about Islam because are all Muslims bad people?
No, don't be stupid.
I'm asking you because I'm asking. Okay.
Some of the best people I've met growing up in my life have been Muslim.
Okay. It's just when you hear
Muslim. I don't know if you struggle in this country to do this as well. Muslims.
So it's Islam.
Muslims are people.
Yeah.
Islam is an idea.
Okay.
Yeah? Criticising and picking fault with this idea is your God-given right. inciting abuse of people based on that is a totally different ballgame. Yeah? Can I ask you, have you read the Quran?
No.
No.
But it says weird things in the Quran, but if you read the Old Testament, you find stupid things in that as well.
Yeah, but you haven't read the Quran.
No.
So you don't understand the Quran. Have you read the life of Muhammad?
No.
What do you understand about the Prophet Muhammad? What do you know of his life?
The common knowledge, I think.
Which is what?
I'm not going to go into
no,
it.
Come on, what's the common knowledge?
But I know you.
Why are you not? Are you scared to talk about Muhammad?
No, not at all. But I don't know anything about. I don't know a lot about Muhammad.
So who are you writing this article for? Which newspaper? The biggest newspaper in the country? One of them?
Second biggest.
So you're a journalist for the second biggest. You're here talking to someone whose whole life is around Islam and my opposition to it. And you know nothing of Islam. You know nothing about Muhammad. You are sitting here totally ignorant on the issue that I'm talking about.
No, I don't think I'm totally ignorant.
Well, tell me what you know about Islam then. Tell me what you know about Muhammad. Come on.
I don't think I'm going to go into
Why
that.
not? No. Tell me what you know about Muhammad.
No.
Why not? Why not?
No, because you know so much more about that topic.
No, but you tell me what you know about Muhammad. Because the point is, don't you think if you're going to sit down, which you are, you're sitting down with probably the lead critic of Islam, yeah? You're here to ask me all these questions. Maybe you should research to see if there's truth in what I'm saying. You're a journalist.
I'm not saying that there's no truth to what you're saying. I'm asking you what you think of Muslims, what do you think of Islam?
But I'm asking you, because you're a journalist, so you should have done... In fact, if I was you, and you're a journalist, and I think 8 to 10% of this country follow Islam, you've had a lot of problems in Denmark as well, yeah? You've had a terrorist attack against the Jewish community, you've had all these issues. Don't you think you should research to see if it's problematic?
There are so many people in Denmark who think it is problematic.
But don't you think if you're going to write articles, which is what you're about to do today, and you're going to put judgmental articles, I believe, don't you think you should know something about the issue you're talking about? Or do you think that is the pure example of ignorance? Do you think you're ignorant on the issue?
No.
You don't think you're ignorant, even though you don't know anything about this issue? You've done no research into Islam. You've done no research. You've just said that.
I have done. I think I know some.
Okay, so what did you find in your research?
What
did you find in your research?
Tommy, can I ask you?
Come on, man. You're scared to talk about Islam, aren't you?
I'm not scared to talk about it, but I don't know enough about the topic to go into a debate.
Just tell me what you know then. What have you, in your research about Islam, what did you find?
Can I ask you another question? You said that some of the best people you know in Denmark
in Britain.
in Britain are Muslim. But you said in 2011, right? Every single
Muslim watching this.
Yeah.
How do I know the one thing? I have given 100 speeches in towns and city centres. Yeah? My job at that time, and it's the only speech that people pull up. My job at that time was I was leading an organisation as a pressure. I saw us as our job was to put pressure on the police, on the Muslim community to deal with the problems within. Yeah? I've apologised for that comment. It's rash.
So you shouldn't have said that?
No, I shouldn't have.
Okay.
That one comment that you pulled out of 100 speeches from 9 years ago, when I was leading an organisation, 25 years old, 6 months off a building site. No, okay, yeah, I'll apologise for that one comment. I'm not inciting violence in that comment, okay? When I say you feel the full force, we will protest everywhere we want to protest. I haven't incited violence, I've not made any comment, but yeah. Cool.
I think we're being interrupted now.
No problem, man. Nice one. I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah?
Go read some about Muhammad, you'll see that I'm right.
Yeah, but it's difficult for me as a reporter to go into that because you know so much more about that topic than
No, but I'm not going to debate you on the issue. I'm just going to ask what you know.
Yeah.
Go and do some research into the man Muhammad was, because if you're going to have a growing, I think 30% of the under 16s in Copenhagen follow Islam. 30%. So in 20 years' time, this city is taken over by people who follow this ideology. You've got to understand the ideology that they're following if you're going to be the biggest reporter. Yeah?
Cool.
See you later.